morning. Hello. How are you? All good, I hope. It's a little bit gloomy here today. See, it's a little bit dark on my screen. Hopefully, yes, you can see me okay. So welcome to my Facebook chat for Friday the 9th of November. Wow. It's just speeding by, isn't it, this year? Yes, so welcome if you're watching live on Facebook or on the replay later on or on my YouTube channel later. So hello, welcome. Feel free to comment away and if you have any questions, I'll try and get to them for you. So let me tell you what I've been up to since I saw you last. Well, last week I mentioned I was going to a retreat at Bridgewater, not too far away from me. And yeah, that was heaps of fun. So we actually went for 4 days. I was only there for 3 mornings. Well, all day Saturday, but it was heaps of fun. So it was held at Cape Bridgewater, which is at a coastal camp, which is like just a very big school camp type thing. So you have lots of people in bunks and sharing things, sharing rooms like that. Big communal area for meals and kitchens, and that's where I did my workshops, in the big communal space, the big fireplace. We were right next to that, so that was lovely because it was a bit cold last weekend. And yeah, so I did some workshops. It was fun. It's great to meet lots of people I'd met before, spend some more time with them. I met lots of new friends too, which is always fun. It's just always nice just to hang out in a place where there's just lots of people who are keen on yarn. It's just fun. People came from all over, people from Brisbane, from Perth, all over Victoria, South Australia. There's a lady there from Yarn Trader where I'm going in February next year. Her name's Shelley. Great name, Shelley. So that was nice to meet her, make connection there, so I'll know a face when I go over there next year. Lots and lots of people there with spinners. There were just spinning wheels everywhere. There were lots of people doing blending and spinning, dyeing yarn, basket making, heaps and heaps of different things going on. Some knitting. It was great, as usual. On the Saturday night, there was a bit of a marketplace, so I was there selling my book, of course, but there were a few other people. There's one thing I can't show you because it's a Christmas present for somebody that I bought. But I don't know if it depends how long you've been following me, but a few years ago, I was contacted by a local lady who said her dad was a wood turner and had just started making crochet hooks, Wendy Goyen. And Wendy was there with her sister Jo, the 2 of 5 sisters, one family. And he makes the most beautiful turned wooden things. And I've got a few of his hooks, and I did a bit of a blog post about them. It's great, but it was good to see them there. And he's making new things now, so of course I bought some more. This lovely, it's a 4mm, so it's a metal aluminium tip, been inserted into this lovely turned wooden handle, which is great because, I mean, these hooks are fine, but I struggle holding them with that little flat bit that's on these hooks normally. I don't like it. I don't like the feel. But now I can hold this on the wooden bit, and it's lovely. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. But I also bought this little thing. It is, sorry, I'm just going to see if I can get that focused. No. A shawl pin. So as you know, maybe I'm knitting a shawl and it's going to annoy me if it keeps falling off. So I bought this shawl pin so I can pin it through and it will stay stuck. And I keep laughing at myself because I keep putting these things down on my little table here. And my little table's not exactly flat. And these are perfectly round, like so perfectly round, they roll at the slightest provocation. So I keep losing them. They keep rolling on the floor because they're so perfectly round. Beautifully made things. There's also, I ordered a couple more things that are going to come soon. There's a beautiful handle like this, but you can actually interchange the hooks set that they're going to organise for me. And also a wood-turned tape measure casing too, tape measure in a case. So can't wait till they arrive, that'll be fun. I also bought some from Amy from, where are they from? What's she from? Otway Fields. Down Birregurra. She makes some amazing preserves and things. So I bought some chili jam and some, what was it? Plum and rosemary jelly. It's yummy. And some black garlic salt. Yum. So I haven't actually used the salt yet, but we used the jam and the plum things. Yes, I know. I'm very picky about my hooks too, Barbara. Barbara's just saying she's very picky about her hooks. She only likes Laurel Hill hooks, which I don't know those, so maybe I'll have to look them up. I like handles. I like hooks with a handle. This is fine, but I like the flat handles as well. Yeah, I'm very picky too. Yes, that was cool. All good. And I think, hello, I would tell you all about the retreat for next year, but all the beds are already booked out for next year. So, yeah, that happened yesterday, I think. So maybe I'll see some of you there. I know some of the people who follow me were there. It's good to put faces to names. Hello, Pauline. I've remembered. It was good. Really, really fun to meet some people. Yeah, cool. Anyway, that's enough about that. Tulip hooks. Yes, they're good too. They're a little bit too round. Are they the tulip ones with the triangular grip? I can't remember. But I don't really... The triangular grips don't suit my hold. I don't know why. They just don't. Anyway, I've done blog posts about crochet hooks and testing them all out. So if you want to search that on my blog, you can. I've tried quite a few, but there's obviously heaps more I haven't tried. All right, so that was that. I sent my weekly email newsletter. Oh, rounded. Okay. And that was a bit of a stock take of my work in progresses. I had a bit of a giggle at myself for that. If you want to sign up for my weekly newsletters, I'll put a link down below later on. All right, so Granny Square Flare news. I had a little bit of a look with Maker Maker, where I'm doing workshops on the 24th of November. And one of the workshops is sold out. That's the one where we're going to be doing some squares from the book. But I think there's still a spot or two left in the Reading Patterns and Charts, which also uses patterns from the book class. That was I really enjoyed doing that class on the weekend, Reading Patterns and Charts. It's amazing. There's always people who prefer the written and people who prefer the chart, and it was really, really clear which one was which on the weekend. Some people were really confused by the written pattern, but as soon as they saw the chart, they're like, wow, easy, done. I can understand. So I love doing that class. So if you're in Melbourne, 24th of November, book in now, and not many spots left. And heading out to Julie at Hastings on the 1st of December at Little Woolly. I don't think there's anything up to book in on that. I need to get in touch with Julie. I need to give Julie a ring and see what's happening with that one, what time it's all kicking off. Anyway, I will do that. There's been a few other things that have been happening in our lives that have made, we have to reorganise a few things. So, but that is still happening, yes. Okay, that's enough about that. At the retreat, sorry, I meant to show you. I just mentioned it. My shawl, my knitting. I actually took this and I actually did 2 repeats this weekend on my shawl. And I'm up to the decreases. You can probably see a bit of a line there. So that's how many of the decreases I've done. Still a long way to go, but yes, I'm on the downward spiral. So every 3rd row is a little bit shorter. So hopefully I will get it done a bit quicker than I anticipated. So I'm enjoying picking that up on the weekend and just doing a row or 2 here and there and in between other things. That feels good to get some progress on that. Yes, anyway. All right, so last week I showed you my progress on the Beneath the Surface Crochet Along project that's happening in January, starting January next year. So I've shown you this one lots of times, the really big square. I showed you one of the squares all done. Second lot of squares all done. Hello, USA. And now, just last night, I finished the 3rd stack. Hooray! So, I have all of the squares I need now. So today I'm going to do the joining video, and I'm going to start joining away. So it's interesting though. Look at these 2 stacks. This is the first square. This is the last square. There are actually twice as many squares of this as there are here. So there's 32 here and 16 here. But because of the texture on this one, it looks like they're about the same. So yay. I'm so pleased that that is done. Yes, I can't wait to join it all together, and then I have to design a border and make all that. Thanks. So I'm really excited about that. That's really been my main focus. Whenever I've had a chance to sit, that's what I've been working on. Yes, I still need to edit all the videos that I haven't done yet. Just need to design and join and design the border. Oh, I sent an email. If you're on my Crochet Along list, I sent an email this morning that tells you a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, a little bit of FAQ or frequently asked questions about crochet alongs that I get. They're not. No, there's 3 different patterns, Shelley, in there. This is the first one. It's just a plain circle to square. This is the second one, which is puff stitches, circle to square. And this is the third one, which is popcorns, circle to square. But these are popcorns done my lazy way, so it's a bit of fun. I really enjoyed making them. So 3 different little patterns, and then the large square that is in the centre incorporates sections from all of them. So we begin as a plain, and we've got some puff stitches, then we've got some popcorn stitches, and then a bit of a combination of everything to square it off. So yes, that's that. Exciting. So yes, I sent an email this morning with lots of information. I don't have the yarn info yet because I want to join it all up, figure out how much yarn I need to join, and figure out how much yarn I need for the border before I can tell you how much yarn you need to buy. So that will all come in the next week or 2. Hopefully next week, but probably the week after. Thanks. Now I've had a few questions dripping through about really specific things about the crochet along, and I'm just going to let's just keep some things as a surprise, okay? Like how many squares of this and how many of this. You don't need to know that kind of stuff now. Everything you do need to know is in the FAQ and will be in the yarn info post. So the things you do need to know up front will be all out there very soon. But the other stuff, let's just wait and let's see what it happened as the crochet along progresses. It's not going to be a big, it won't be a mystery. It's just, you know, I don't really need to explain all the minute details just yet. So it'll all be there, all the info you need. It just, as we go, will probably be the best place for that. Right, that's that. So I did have a play with something else this week. Rochelle Karoma, who is Cypress Textiles on Instagram and her blog and all that kind of stuff, has a new book out, I think, next week or the week after. It's called The Art of Crochet Blankets, and it's very different from a lot of other crochet books that you might have seen. What she's done is she has looked at people in the art world who do art with all different mediums and use that as their inspiration. Thanks, Barbara. To design crochet patterns. So she's got Marianne Moody, who's an Australian weaver, and I actually saw Marianne speak at an event I went to earlier on this year, which was great. So it was nice to see her in there, and Aussie as well. So she does these beautiful weavings, and Michelle's designed a few patterns based on her weavings, a few crochet blankets. There's printmakers, there's fabric designers, that Chula Pink fabric designer, she's designed some patterns based on her fabrics. There's tiles, so it's really quite interesting. Anyway, I don't need to tell you too much about it because I'm still writing my review, but I did have a bit of a play with the patterns. So there's one pattern that the name I should have written down and I've forgotten. Anyway, bad of me. It's based on paper cutting. So it's a hexagonal square. That's the basis for the pattern. But then there are flowers. Hello. So there's flowers in there as well. So the flowers and the solids go together to make up the blanket that she's designed. So whenever I'm doing a review of a book, I always want to actually make something from the book, so I can tell you honestly if the patterns work or not. And yeah, so that's what I've done. I've made a few samples. I don't have time to make a whole blanket, but I can see by making all the basics that it's all going to be fine. So I'm going to be writing the review next week and posting it either the next week or the week after. So I'll let you know when that's free and give you a link. But yeah, it's always fun. I always enjoy doing patterns by other people because I always learn something new. It's good to get out of your way of this is the way it is, because you know I design in a certain way, Michelle designs in a different way, but it's cool that we can still do each other's work. So I had no trouble at all understanding her patterns, and it's always interesting how people do things a little bit differently. It's cool. I love it. So yes, that was fun. Right, what else? Questions. So last week I asked you a question, and thank you so much for your lovely feedback. I was a bit surprised, really. I thought I would have a clear, yes, do that, but everyone was, yes, do it all. So I probably will, but it's going to take me some time. I think I might focus on one project a year, maybe. We'll see how we go. But yes, I have an idea what I'm going to do next year. I am going to put out another book next year, and that's all I'm going to say at this point. But thank you for all your feedback. It was very encouraging. Yes. All right. I've had this. It's funny how things always happen in twos for me. I've had this request twice this week, and not for a few months before that. Private workshops. Yes, I am more than willing to come to you to do a private workshop, as long as you're not too far away from me. Or if I'm going to be near where you are doing something else. Absolutely. If you've got the space and the people, like it's probably not worth it for, you probably need at least 6 people, 6 to 10 people. Absolutely, I'll come and do a private workshop with you. Whatever you want. We can do a whole day, where we do a morning and afternoon session on a really big pattern, or we can just do lots of patterns from the book, or I can do from beginners to more advanced. I'm happy to do anything. So just reach out and we'll see what we can do. So hopefully I've got a couple of those coming up, fairly local to me, which is cool. All right, I've had another question what have I done with it? In the book. Probably, unless you want to pay my airfares out to Chicago, Laurie. I'd love to come, but if I had to separate the cost between you participants, it might be a bit expensive. But you never know. One day I might come and do a tour of the US or something. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, so I have this is a project in the book. Sorry, the light's a bit dim here today. It's a baby blanket based on the circle to square pattern, and it's made in here in the book. It's made in 4-ply, and it was made by my crochet angel Sam. Thank you. And she made this little sample for me too. So this is 4-ply cotton, and that's what the blanket is made in. You need 70 of these to make the blanket to that size in there. I've had a question from a lady who is making it for her daughter, and her daughter doesn't want to use 4-ply cotton. She wants to use 8-ply wool. And she's just a bit confused about what to do. Like, do I use the same hook? Do I make the same squares? What do I do? So if you've got the book, I have got a section in here called Design Your Own Projects. So in there I go through deciding. You have to decide exactly what it is you want to make. So in this example, she needs to decide how big she wants the blanket to be. Then you need to choose your pattern and layout. Well, she knows the pattern, she knows the layout. Choosing her yarn, she's done that step. Choosing her hook. Now, usually you begin by using the same hook that's recommended on your yarn, but you're not bound by that. You can change it so you get a result that you like. So if you want a denser fabric, use a smaller hook. If you want a lacier, drapier fabric, use a larger hook. It's up to you what you want to do. So you need to decide that for yourself. Choose your colours, which is done. Then calculate your yardage. That's the big one. So calculate how much yarn you will need. And in the book, I've gone through a couple of methods how to do that. And then you can figure it all out. So, for example, this is 4-ply cotton. This is the same square in 8-ply cotton. As you can see, the size difference is quite different. So if you did 70 squares in 8-ply yarn, your blanket is going to be a hell of a lot bigger if you do 70 of them than it is in 4-ply. So I recommended that she decide how much she wants, figure out how many 6 inches will fit into her blanket, and do that. So the blanket is made in the pattern, there's kind of like a diagonal, the colours are in a diagonal, so just chopping off one row that way and one row that way might be sufficient. So you need to reduce the number of squares you'd make. But yeah, it's a blanket, so it doesn't matter what size it is. I hope that makes some kind of sense. Yes, that's that. And I've had a few questions this week from the cruise, because I'm going on a cruise in January teaching workshops. So this week, Paula and Joe, who organise Crafty Adventures, the people who run the whole shebang, send out an email to everyone doing the crochet classes with info on all the yarn it will need and what workshops we'll be doing. I had a few questions about that, so that's pretty exciting that that's all starting to happen, organising it all, yay. There's no spaces left in the crochet workshops. I don't know if there's still room on the cruise with the group, but I will put a link to the Facebook page anyway later on, because there's not just the cruise I'm going on, there's cruises to New Zealand and China. There's not a cruise to China, there's a trip to China. and cruise. There's lots of different options for the next year if you would like to go on a crafty cruise. So I'll put a link to the info for that later. Yeah, that's about it. Does anybody have any other questions that are out there? Just type them all in and I will answer them for you. While I'm waiting for that, I'll just let you know what I'm doing. So the next few days, what I'm going to be doing, well, start today, I'm going to be doing that joining video, and then I'm just going to get joining, designing that border. So that's my goal. For this time next week, I have a finished blanket to show you. That's the plan. We'll see if it happens. Because I'm still doing a bit of work for a friend, helping her out. And yeah, so it just depends how much of that I do. Oh, and that reminds me that the video next week will be next Thursday morning instead of Friday morning, because I just can't do two things at once. And that's going to happen a few times in the coming months. I'm going to have to change the time I do this. It's either change it or not do it at all. And that's going to happen a few times because there's so much happening. I think this weekend coming is one of the second last free weekend I have for the rest of the year into January. Anyway, that's why they call it silly season. So many things happening. Yes, so that's it. No questions coming up there. But you always feel free to email me, Shelley@spincushions.com, or comment on the Facebook page, Instagram, on the YouTube channel, whatever you like, and I will get back to you. So thank you for popping in and joining me. Do I self-publish my Granny Square Flare? Yes, I did. Self-published book, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be self-publishing some other books in the future. Now that I've done it once, I know it'll hopefully not take me as long. And why? Okay, why do I self-publish books? Okay, there's a few different reasons. I have been down the road with a publisher, and then for a variety of reasons it didn't actually finish up working out, which is fine. I've investigated doing it. There's pros and cons for going with a publisher and pros and cons for self-publishing. I chose to do self-publishing because it is very doable this day and age. You don't need to, I don't have to order 5,000 books and have them sitting in my room waiting to sell them. I can order as many or as few as I like. I can order one book at a time if I want to. The publishers that self-publishing publishers deal with distribution to all the different places. It's very doable from your own home today. You do have to do a lot of research and think about things that you can't do yourself, like photography I didn't do, well, some of it I did, but not all of it. Graphic design I outsourced, proofreading, tech editing outsourced, chart making outsourced, to make it as professional as I possibly could. So yes, it's doable, but there is a lot of work involved. And it means you have more control. I'm not bound to using one particular yarn from one particular yarn company. I can use whatever I like. I can make the book exactly what I want it to be without, because I have a very clear vision. Well, I had a very clear vision for Granny Square Flare, what I wanted it to be. So I was able to make that happen. I didn't have someone telling me that, no, our market doesn't like that. Our market likes this. I could do it my way. So, yes, I am a control freak. Nothing better than self-publishing for a control freak. But you do need to get outside opinion. That's really, really important if you are going to self-publish. You can't believe, I'm not arrogant enough to believe that I know everything and everything was perfect. I knew that I needed other people's help to make it happen. So, yeah. I hope that answers that a bit, Laurie. Yeah. So, I think that's it. Thank you very much for popping in and listening and talking to me. And I will see you next Thursday, hopefully with a whole blanket. Yay! Oh, where are you able to purchase this book? I'll put a link down below to my blog post that has links to everywhere where you can buy it. So you can buy it direct from me if you're in Australia, Amazon all around the world, Book Depository, Kobo, Digital, Amazon, everything, everywhere, pretty much everywhere. So there you go. Thank you for your questions, and I will see you next Thursday.